Hi there, it's Kute here, sending you love wherever you are around the world, sending you big love. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that is on some level quite dear to my heart because it's been a part of my life for such a long time, and it's been a topic that so many friends and clients and so many of you have emailed me about, asking for advice and techniques and my thoughts on. And it's simply, this theme of Kute. How do I motivate myself to exercise, to work out, to be healthy, to lose weight? How do I sustain that motivation? What do I do? What do you do? And working out and exercising and eating healthy has been a part of my life for the longest time. And over the last 25 or so years, I have worked out pretty much almost when I'm not traveling every single day, some version of moving my body and being healthy. But it wasn't always the case. When I was a young boy, I grew up in London. When I was a young boy, believe it or not, I was a fat little kid. I mean, I remember being 8 years old, getting rejected by all the girls because I was just so fat. And I couldn't fit, I could not go to the store and buy regular clothes in the kids section at age 8, age 9, age 10 because there were no clothes that fit me. I remember having the most traumatic experience of my life because as kids you're very sensitive. And I remember being about age 8, age 9, my cousins and uncles took me to the store and we had to literally go over throughout London the entire day to try and find a suit. You know how hard it is to find a suit for an 8, 9-year-old overweight kid that fits perfectly from the children's section? It was impossible. We had to go through a whole day. Turns out at the end of the day we gave up. We had to buy an adult version of the suit for me as a kid. And I remember the pain and the shame and the, and the comments, and it was such a source of pain. So for me, it never came easy. And I believe that exercise and working out is not necessarily easy. It will be a challenge. It will challenge you. And what happened for me one day was I must have been about age 12. I was so sick and tired of being sick and tired that I came home. I was sick and tired of being lost in school. I was sick and tired of being teased. I was sick and tired of it all. And I came home. I threw my bags on the stairs. My mother said, "What's going on?" I threw my bags on the stairs and I put my running gear on and I went once around the block. That was it. And then I went twice around the block. That was it. Then I went 2, 3 times around the block, and 4 times around the block, and 5 times around the block. And before you knew it, over the course of about 3 months, maybe 3 to 4 months, I was running 3 miles. Then before you know it, I was running 4 miles. And then before you know it, I was running 5 miles. And then before you know it, I was running 6 miles, 6 days a week, 5 days a week, 7 days a week. I mean, it just became this, this amazing experience for me where I totally transformed my health, my body, my relationship to exercising. But I will tell you this, it was not easy. There has to come a point where you commit. One of the things I've seen is many people that want to lose weight, exercise, work out, never fully, truly commit. You know you need to do it, you know you'd like to do it, but you don't really commit. And a commitment is a commitment. A commitment is when you say, that's it. It's no longer an option to not exercise. It's no longer an option to not work out. It's a commitment. See, ultimately, if your life was on the line, if your parents' life was on the line and said, you have to work out and you have to exercise, otherwise we're going to kill your parents, we'll never see them again, would you do it? It wouldn't even be an option if your kid's life is on the line. Would you do it? It would not even be a thought. You'd wake up every morning at 6:30, the alarm clock would go off, you would just switch it off, jump out of bed, you think of your kid and you go exercise. But often when it comes to ourselves, we're not committed. So I often say, after working with clients from all walks of life, it's not really even about the working out. It really starts at the foundational level of a commitment to yourself. You must be fully committed to yourself, to making yourself that important. Working out is really a self-loving act, an act of self-loving where you get to nourish your body, not deprive your body, not punish your body, but to nourish your body. I think it's important that you find a vehicle and an expression of exercise that you enjoy, that brings you joy, but also works that also is a function of something that actually works, but you find your own path, your own relationship to it, but commitment is key. There came a point every day for, must have been 10 years till I was in my 20s, every day I would wake up every morning, going for a run wasn't an option. I'd go to school, come back, go for a run. It wasn't a choice. There will be days where you don't feel like it. There will be days where you just don't want to do it. I think almost every day there was one point where I did not feel like exercising. I just couldn't be bothered. I was tired, I was hungry, I was lazy. I wanted to do other things. But when you are committed, see, one thing that happens is people often think if I'm exercising, if I'm not eating that food, then I'm actually depriving myself. I'm actually depriving myself of that piece of chocolate. I'm depriving myself of doing something else. I'm depriving myself of watching television, lounging on the couch, just chilling out, doing nothing. But the choice has to shift from depriving to the fact that you are actually choosing a higher level of freedom. You are choosing something more. You are choosing to say yes to a higher level of your greatness, a higher level of your possibility and your potential when you're exercising and working out. So that has to shift. Every day, I remember not feeling like it. If you listen, the other thing you're going to have to overcome is your sneaky mind. You will find that your mind will find and rationalize all kinds of sneaky excuses to not have you work out. And those excuses will often seem realistic and reasonable and rational. And it will happen every day. One thing I had to overcome was to not listen to my mind. Oh, you don't have to do it today. Oh, you don't have to. You've done it for 4 days. You don't have to do it today. You've been good for the last month. You don't have to do it today. You don't, just skip today. Whatever your mind tells you, do you notice? All it takes is that one time where you listen to them. It's different if you make a conscious choice and you consciously plan like, okay, on this day, Sunday, I'm not going to exercise. That's a conscious choice that you are with full awareness making. But often what happens is we wake up, we don't feel like it, and then, I don't need to do it today. What that does is that sets a groove where you start not fulfilling your commitment to yourself. You start kind of becoming out of integrity with yourself. And in that moment where you actually aren't making a choice, you're being run by your program, run by your laziness, run by your mind collapsing, you're actually depleting yourself of power. You're depleting yourself of being fully in alignment. So the other thing you must overcome is do not listen to your mind. Because your mind, if you notice, is constantly trying to sell you a whole bunch of stuff. And as it relates to working out, exercising, losing weight, eating the right foods, your mind will often tell you, let me have that burger today. It doesn't really matter. It's no big deal. If you're going to choose to not exercise, to not work out, to not eat right, to not follow through on your commitment, often what happens is we do it unconsciously. Oh, we just slip into it. Oh, it doesn't really matter. Oh, I just ate the hamburger. Oh, I just had the Haagen-Dazs. Oh, it just happened. And then we go into a cycle of guilt, shame, and then we beat ourselves up. And then, okay, today's the day. There comes a moment where you realize you have a choice. Okay, here I am with this tub of ice cream. And that's the moment that requires your conscious awareness, where you must say, I know exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm going to eat this ice cream. I know exactly what I'm doing. There's no, oh, what just happened? I just ate the ice cream. I know exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm choosing to be lazy and not work out. I am choosing laziness. Yes, yes, a confession. I am choosing to be lazy. I'm choosing to sit on the couch. I'm choosing to avoid. This is my choice. And what I'm saying is be honest and take full responsibility for your choice. Something happens when you take full responsibility for your choice, for your resistance, for your collapse. But there's something profound that happens in the moment when you do it. Right now, this morning, I'm choosing to snooze button and not do it. Yes, it's my choice. I'm choosing mediocrity. I'm choosing to be lazy. Yes. Now, it sounds absurd, but if you actually do that, It's like I'm choosing to not be enlightened. You know, if you actually do that, it brings you in relationship with that moment, and there is no more BSing yourself. One of the things that keeps us stuck in a loop is that I found we are constantly, the mind mechanism is constantly finding a way to deceive itself, to deceive us. There's a sense of self-deception inside of us, a mechanism of self-deception that will make choices and then will create justifications as to why we make that choice. It's often said that a choice is made even unconsciously 7 seconds before it comes into our conscious awareness, and then we rationalize and make it, oh, I didn't work out because I didn't, exercise because I didn't eat healthy this week because, and we, because I've been working hard and I've been doing all this stuff, and we create a whole schema around it, a whole theme around it that seems logical, but we keep ourselves stuck. I say there's no easy way to exercise, to lose weight. There's no easy way. It takes your discipline. It takes your courage. It takes your heart. It takes your commitment to yourself. One of the hardest parts of working out consistently for me, and I'm just sharing what works for me. This is after literally missing maybe 5 days of exercise, of some physical activity in the last 20-some years. One of the most important things I want you to remember that really impacted me was the realization that one of the hardest parts of working out and creating the consistency in your exercise, workout, healthy eating habit, but especially when it came to working out and exercise, one of the most important things was the realization that the hardest part of exercising, the hardest part of working out, wasn't actually the workout. It was actually putting my workout gear on and getting outside. Once I put my workout gear on and went outside and got outside the door and begun to go for a run, at that point, it was easy. So if you have a hard time, at least say, okay, today I'm just going to drive to the gym. I'm not going to even work out. I'm going to go drive to the gym and I'm going to sit on the couch at the gym. At least do that and see what happens. At least commit to 15 minutes, because the hardest part is getting yourself over that hump, because once you're there, chances are you'll catch the wave of momentum. Do not believe your mind. Do not believe your mind, because once you do it and then you do it and you do it, the momentum will build, the consistency will build, you will feel power generating inside you that will grow and affect every area of your life. I often say, when people talk about being leaders, when people talk about transforming people and being leaders, and I often say, look, one of the foundational areas of one's life that we must have a basic level of mastery over. That doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean by society standards what we see in the magazine. But I often say, if you can't get yourself to exercise, if you can't just have basic control of going to the gym and having a foundation with one's body, just basic, then how can we really progress to the higher realms? We must start with the foundation. To me, working out, exercising as a foundation. One of the other things that really assisted me is as I worked out and I started to run on a daily basis, it became less about the physical experience, it became less about the body, and it became more about stretching myself. It became more about expanding my comfort zone. It became more about actually tapping into and expressing a higher level of my greatness and pushing my boundaries for what I felt was possible for myself and transcending my own limitations stage by stage by stage. It became less about, oh, this is how I look, this is what I weigh, but more about how I felt inside and the power that was generated inside of myself in knowing I was committing to myself, following through, and how good that felt. It became more of an inner game, because what I found for myself is the same level of discipline and consistency and commitment that it took to exercise, the same level of discipline and commitment it took to work out and do that on a daily basis and say yes when I wanted to say no, and take control of my mind and no longer be a slave to my mind, a slave to my laziness. That groove, that commitment, I was able to have access to that in every single area of my life. To me, then you have choice. And when you have choice, you have power. And when you have power, you can create and affect change. I invite you to make that commitment to yourself and watch your world and your life transform. Hope this was helpful. Sending you lots of love. Love now.